As Israel's ground invasion into Gaza appears imminent, China now reportedly deploying 6 warships to the Mideast. At the same time, some believe that China, Russia, and North Korea could seize on the war as a, quote, invitation to unleash hell and a new world order. That's from a headline in the UK Sun. Perhaps a bit dramatic, but certainly unnerving. The news outlet saying Vladimir Putin is, quote, pleased with the Middle East chaos as it shifts Western attention away from Ukraine. Let's bring in White House columnist for The Hill's Niall Stanage here. Niall, over the weekend, both China and Russia, they were meeting, announcing they have the same stance on the war, that they'll work on a 2-state solution. How generous of them. How much is this just posturing?
Well, I think that it is something that is born of a desire to put themselves on the world stage and to take advantage of differences between other nations' view of this conflict and the US and Israeli view of this conflict. Now, do I think that, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are terribly concerned about making peace? Not really. I think Mr. Xi's an autocrat and Mr. Putin's a thug. But being a thug doesn't necessarily make you stupid, and I think they see opportunity in the middle of all of this.
Hamas actually, as we've talked about many times now, sophisticated, more heightened sophistication with their war efforts, but also they travel to meet with leaders in Iran or in Russia. Are there any indications Hamas is in direct talks with Moscow now?
There aren't really. Let me clarify that. Russia has never broken off talks with Hamas. There has been conversations, and Hamas delegations have gone to Moscow back and forth since about 2006, the year when Hamas won elections in the Palestinian territories. There is no evidence that Russia is directly arming Hamas. I think that's the distinction that a lot of people are drawing right now.
Well, I've got to ask you one more question here. How might these nations, Beijing, China, Russia, and North Korea, capitalize on the conflict and undermine the U.S.?
Because I think they see the opportunity residing in the fact that international opinion of the fundamentals of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is quite different from American opinion. Now, to be clear, the Hamas attack of October 7th was so grotesque that it drew condemnation from pretty much everyone. But one of the things that is certainly striking to me, Adrienne, is how different public opinion is in the US to many other places in terms of the underlying context of this conflict. Elsewhere, there is enormous sympathy for the plight of the Palestinians, for the aspiration of the Palestinians. And so I think Russia and China see an opportunity to capitalize on that to broaden the schism between the United States and some other countries, particularly in the global south.
Yes, optics right now and propaganda rampant. This $106 million aid package, it's literally the kitchen sink. It includes funding for the Mexican border here in the United States. Are some saying in Washington that President Biden is offering more a political front to make it look like a grand gesture to Israel, but in reality, it's a funnel to give the lion's share to Ukraine and Palestinians?
I think the first part's a little unfair. Honestly, there's $14 billion in aid to Israel in this package, contrasted to about $3 billion of aid the United States typically gives to Israel. So I don't think that it is mean or excessively frugal in that respect. There's a separate question about political strategy, where both President Biden and, interestingly enough, the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell have favored tying the issue of Israel and Ukraine together. To make a long story short, they hope to thereby isolate critics of aid to either one of those nations. You have to vote for both or neither, and therefore they hope to maximize support for it in that way.
Thank you for correcting the number. I said 105 million, and it's 105 or 106 billion. But Niall, aren't there people, and we've had them on the show here, who are saying that even though it seems generous on its face to Israel, that Israel doesn't necessarily need that funding right now because of previous agreements to support their nation prior to this conflict, so that the money allocated would go to the border here in Mexico, which is needed, but to Ukraine, most primarily because they are running out of funding, and to the humanitarian aid efforts in Gaza.
It is true that there is more money in this package to Ukraine than there is to Israel. by a very significant margin. Now, I have never seen a dollar figure of what the Israelis requested from the United States. They certainly required things like the replenishment of its Iron Dome munitions, which I think is being provided to them. People are obviously going to have issues with the overall spending and the breakdown of that overall spending. But given the very vigorous support, not just of President Biden, but of both political parties for aid to Israel, I don't see it as being lacking in that regard.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.